Hello, I wanted to make a short video because I posted earlier about going to the chiropractor today, September 28th, 2021. I wanted to talk about my past experiences. I mentioned I had bad experiences with doctors and such. And I'm going to come out and say it right now, I almost canceled my appointment today. Last Friday, I told Amy, I told my wife, I'm like, just cancel it. And she's like, oh, you need to go. But I'm like, well, my back feels better, I'll be okay. And so she never canceled it. And then yesterday, I'm like, or no, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go. Do we have time? Still have time to cancel? And she again said, no, don't do it, just go. I'm like, well, I don't want to bother with it. I don't want to miss work and blah, blah, blah. I kept coming up all these excuses to avoid going. And I think I did that because I didn't want to walk in there and be treated like a number. I didn't want to walk in there and pay my copay and then, okay, come to the back. And I didn't really, what I was expecting was to be in and out of there in a half hour to an hour. Here you go, do this and, do that and you'll be fine. I had real low expectations going in there, and that's why I didn't want to go. I did not want to go there today. I dreaded going there every second. I dreaded getting off work early. I dreaded driving there. I hated every second of it. And so I went there and I was blown away. They said that this appointment will take about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I was like, okay, what the heck are you guys gonna do? So I went in, super nice, super friendly. I went in, I went to my room, took my vitals, and then a PA came in, and then she's just doing all these tests. And I mentioned in the post earlier, scoliosis. She's looking at me and she's like, well, your shoulder, she felt my back and the one side bulges out more than the other. She's like, have you ever noticed this? I'm like, no, it just, whatever. And then she did a few more tests and she just kept, I'm not diagnosed yet with that, but she just kept throwing it out there. And it was like scaring me because I knew what it was and I kind of didn't know what it was. I kind of thought it was maybe bad. I didn't have any idea. And then I have to tell everyone about DDPY. I have to tell everyone about my weight loss. So I showed her I lost all this weight. I told her about my foot. And I was just sitting there and she's like, well, your foot is turned in. Your one foot. Have you noticed that? I'm like, she was asking me things if I noticed. I'm like, no, this is just me. Whatever. So that was a great. I went through a bunch of tests, which was great. It made me feel like they cared, which was reassuring. I then got brought, another person came, x-ray tech came and took, actually, after that, the x-ray tech took me in the other room and they took pictures. They had me stand next to a screen and they took front view, side view pictures. I felt like I was doing my 6 pictures with DDPY. It was like those pictures. And then they did x-rays, a ton of x-rays. And the x-ray tech brought me to the back because they took the x-ray and then they could look at it on their computer. He took me to the back. He's like, see that curve? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, that's why scoliosis is mentioned. That's why he mentioned it too. He's like, but it has to be within a percentage. He doesn't know. He just wanted to, they didn't diagnose it, but they're just friendly and they're just throwing it out there. And then I loved how they showed me that, and it was so reassuring. And then he said your next appointment is going to be meeting with the 3 chiropractors we're in the practice. That's going to be a 90-minute meeting, and your wife should be with you because it's a lot of information. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, they're going to go over a treatment plan and what they can do. And these chiropractors are going to each give their own input on what's wrong, how to fix it and basically how to treat me and ultimately help me get better. And then after that, they took me to the human torture device where they set me in a chair and they put a strap around me and they just expanded my spine. I have a inversion table and a teeter inversion table I use at home. And I guess it's kind of like that, but the guy had a crank and he's cranking it up. And I'm like, oh, what the hell is going on? And it was funny because they went to it was like a back brace. They went to put that around my waist and they're like, oh, this is a medium, but we might need a small. And I'm like, a small? What the hell? It was cool. I guess that's a non-scale victory. I was like, I've never fit into a small anything in my life. And they just looked at me and I just started laughing. They think like I was nuts, but whatever. It was just cool to, I don't know, you're not used to hearing that word or it fitting you, a small. Anyway, did that. And then after that, they did like shock treatments. Not really shock, but they hook up these pads to my back. They cranked it up and they put ice packs, and then I sat on a table and laid down for 10 minutes. And then after that, I pretty much done. Like I said, I was there. I think I got there around 2 and I left at like 4. So, I mean, it was a lot of information, and then this next meeting is going to be a lot more information. But rest assured, I almost didn't go to this. I almost didn't go, and if I wouldn't have gone, I wouldn't have learned what I learned. I learned so much today, and I'm going to learn so much next week. And man, anyone who is hesitant about going to a doctor of any sort, I mean, just go and see. I mean, if I would have went and it would have been a bad experience, I would have just found someone else. But I just can't believe how I almost canceled this thing twice. And I found every excuse in the book not to go. And I'm grateful I went. And again, Matt Schmidt, thank you for getting my stubborn ass in gear to make an appointment and to go. I really appreciate you. That comment you made back in August, again, just that little comment helped me. And Curtis, you're a great inspiration. I've seen all the back issues you deal with, and you just push through it all. That really inspires me. Everyone here inspires me. And I know we had that meeting today, or that Facebook Live today, talking about this contest and whatever. Submit your stuff and let it be what it's going to be. We all did this for our why. We all did this to change our lives. And if we got a little bit better out of this experience, if we gained something from this experience, we all won. And I tell you that right now. I mentioned in a post earlier, last year I submitted my stuff. I made videos, and I cherish those videos I made from last year's challenge. I would have never in a million years done videos like that if it wasn't for the challenge. I cherish that, and I'm grateful I entered the challenge just because of that. Because I could look at those videos and be like, damn. Because I still talk the same way. I look different, but I still talked, because that's my mental mindset. My mental change was happening, and I love seeing those old videos, and I watch those on occasion, and it's great. So again, I made this video longer than I should have. I just wanted to give an update. I appreciate every one of you who've commented on my post from earlier. I really, really do appreciate it. And I'll update everyone next week after I see these doctors, and we'll go from there. And then I'll be a DDPY instructor hopefully in the next coming months, and I'll have 3 screws in my right foot and maybe scoliosis. And guess what? I'm teaching DDPY. So anything is possible. So thanks again, and have a great night, and be unstoppable.